What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. We're giving you our locks of the week, and we're talking Eagles. We got a lot to unpack tonight. Stay with us. Let's go. What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up. Let's go. No notes.
That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby. We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
What
the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about? Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Royal Billiard. They're the premier game room store to Delaware Valley, stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiard, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. As always, Blake, Chrome, Greg, Frank, I'm Tom. Everybody out there, here we go, because we got a ton to go over. We'll give you our locks of the week as we go through the NFL Week 16 preview and predictions. We'll run through every game at the end of the show, and we'll give you our locks throughout Week 16. We're going to circle back, obviously, to what we watched Monday night with the Eagles, what we watched over the last 3 weeks with the Eagles, how we can sort of fast forward and sort of predict where they're going to be in another 3 weeks from now as we get closer to playoff time, right? Is this time to jump off the wagon? We're going to talk about it. Is it time to quit? We're going to talk about all that. And then we'll give you our Eagles-Giants preview, predictions, players of the game, and we'll dive all into that game as well. And that's a chance for everybody out there to win $300. You nail the score, money's yours, baby. Money's yours. So everything, it ties into our poll. And if you're out there, listen, you don't want to beat a dead horse, okay? But you also have to understand something. When you're a franchise quarterback, a lot of stuff's on your table. I mean, that table's loaded with stuff. So the second that happens, comes a little bit different of a standard that you get held to. Doesn't mean you can't have bad games. We'll talk about it. Doesn't mean any of that. Okay? It just means you gotta be consistent. You can't be like, you know what, dude? You know, he's the reason we're losing. So, and our poll question is, I almost said brought to you by Jalen Hurts, because essentially it's about Jalen Hurts. And it's brought to you by Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. You mentioned HED Radio, 10% off your order. Baggio's Bread. Get in there. Right, dive into one, babe. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our poll, maybe not an oh, yeah. But our poll, the 2023 version of Jalen Hurts is the real Jalen Hurts. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation. Let us know how you're feeling. I want to know people's confidence level of this team. Do you still believe they can go to an NFC Championship game? Do you believe they're a one and done? Do you believe they lose 2 out of these last 3? Are you a believer that they're going to win the last 3 and be 13-4? And then how would you feel about that before the season started? Right? So, you know, we've had a bad stretch. So you don't want to overreact to a bad stretch. Now, in terms of Jalen's been bad. He's been bad keeping the football in, either throwing it to his players and not somebody else, or putting the football on the turf, right? He hasn't been good enough with that. You know, compared to his numbers over his first 2 years combined to this year, like that's crazy. Like that's way too much. You can't do that and expect to win at this level. We know that. So, but is that is this the type of the most we can expect from him? I can't say that's the real version, like fully, like because you can't just like as much as I'm critical of him. This is where people gotta understand. Tom's not a hater. As much as I'm critical of him, I can't just poo-poo what he did either. So it's, to me, it's somewhere in the middle of these two. To expect that year every year, I think is unrealistic for him. but they expect somewhere in the middle of these two, which makes a really good quarterback, right? That's where I think he is. Like, I don't think he reads defense as well. I think he's a one look and go cat. If he doesn't like it, he's taken off. I thought that was better last year. It obviously wasn't. We were being fooled. It's glaring this year. So I don't know what he is in terms of like a pocket passer. I feel like he can't throw over the middle. He struggles with that. I don't know. That's concerning, right? That's concerning. So are you like the talent level is somewhere what we watched last year and this year? It's somewhere in there, right? But the other stuff that we thought was getting better may not have been getting better. Right? And that stuff is the intangibles that the physical tools don't matter. Right? Reading defenses, reading, reacting. Get rid of the football. Be able to go through your first two progressions and then boom, hips into your third. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you see that? But does anybody out there see that? You call that a hater or call it the facts. He's got away with that. Right, guys? And we've let it go as guys that had criticisms about him on draft night. These are the same things. These same goddamn things. That's where I get pissed off. Well, that's the play. What? So your play's one look deep? That's your play? Right? We don't hold it. We don't hold the safety. We don't do any of that. Like, we just launch off our back foot. So I don't know what he is, guys. So I'm like neutral. I'm like neutral. I'm like Switzerland. You know what I mean? I'm like Switzerland right here. I don't know where. I don't know what he is. So does that mean I agree? I don't know. Or because I don't know what he is, I more disagree. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think he lacks things, but we've also seen him make up for those things.
Sure. So
it's like I said, he's somewhere in the middle of that. He's not elite. He's not elite. He might be an elite leader or different things like that. He's not elite. He's an elite athlete, right? You know what I'm saying? He's an elite athlete, but like the quarterback, he's not elite. So it's weird. It's weird, guys. I'm Switzerland, so I'm out. I'm done. I don't know what I do.
I'll make a definitive answer though, and I will disagree. And Tommy, a lot of what you said is 100% factual and part of why I disagree, right? You can't take what he did last year and fully just wipe that away like it never happened, right? But then you also can't look at this year and see a dramatically worse player than what we saw last year. But with that being said, you look at parts of this year, like during our stretch when we were winning, there were big drives where he showed up and he looked the part of what he did last year, right? You look at the second half of that Rams game specifically, right? Where we all kind of thought collectively on Sunday nights that was probably, at that point in the season, was his best game. You know what I mean? At that point. So there's things that he's done this year that mimic what he did last year. And then there's also things that he's done this year that you're right, bring back the ghost of what we thought on draft night. Right. But I think if you look around the league, though, you look at the likes of the Lamars, the Kylers, right? Guys that are pretty much, have more of a run threat than the pure pocket passers. They kind of all go through this transition where they struggle. They want to rely on their athleticism, but then they realize that they can't at this level as much as they could in college. Right. Lamar dropped and he's kind of back to his MVP like, but he's also progressed as a quarterback as well. He's not exiting as often as he used to when he was younger and stuff like that. So I think that's a natural progression with these types of quarterbacks. So I don't want to sit here and absolutely hammer the guy for just having a down year because we did see what he was. Now, I completely agree with you. I don't really expect that MVP caliber, number one or two, quote unquote, player in the league, right? Like type of performance every year, but we do expect him to be better than he is right now. And to your point, that's right there in the middle. But I'll disagree because I don't like what we're seeing here this year with Jalen. And you almost wonder, at least me, it makes me wonder if there's a lingering issue, right? If there's a lingering injury or something along those lines to where him being the pure competitor is going to try and tough it out, right? Maybe that knee is worse than everyone's leading on to, right? And that's something we don't know.
True. We don't know that. All right. What's going next?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I'm going to disagree to the poll as well, and I think for a lot of the reasons you guys mentioned. I just feel like to have such a drastic fall off, and really it's primarily been these last, probably the first couple of games, and then he had a nice stretch in the middle of the season, and it's really been these last 2 or 3 games have been really, really awful. I can't fathom that this is who this guy is. I just don't see it. There's too much of a work ethic, a leadership there. It hasn't looked good. It hasn't looked good. He hasn't gone through his progressions. I feel like he's gotten a little bit of AJ reliant. That last pass, in my opinion, absolutely 12 seconds and 2 timeouts in your back pocket. And there was one look there. And if he was the first option on that, then that's shame on Nick for calling that play and making him the first option on that, by the way. If anything, he should have been a decoy to try to open up the middle of the field or go short.
Don't worry. Nick's answer today really makes you feel better. So, I mean, this is the goddamn comic relief hour or something. Like, I mean, he said, well, we're trying to get the PI. You're trying to what? What'd you say, bro? What are you talking about? You're leaving up the referees?
Now we're playing for PI?
Come on, man.
Right.
Don't say that. Don't even say that. Just say, hey, we thought we had one-on-one there. We thought we had a good matchup. You say it like that. Like, unless it just didn't work out. Guy made a great play, right? And you move on. He didn't make a great play. The ball was terrible. But you know what I mean? You just deflected. These are simple cookie cutter answers here on how you handle that. You don't say, well, you know how those plays work. Like, hoping to get that one-on-one PI. So in Seattle. So what you tell me, Nikki Plants, is in Seattle on Monday Night Football, right, in that part of the game, in the closing seconds, you think you're getting a flag? Dude, it better be like a raping. Makes sense? Like, it better be a monkey. Right? Like, I got mugged. He's on the ground. Like, somebody pulled AJ to the ground. Can we stop, Nick? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to crush you because I like you, right? I think you're a good dude. I don't want to crush you, but I will. Can we knock off the bullshit that comes out of the NovaCare complex, please? Because you guys are all making it worse. It's 10-4. That it's not the end of the goddamn season yet. And the way we're going about it as a coaching staff and our interviews and all our pressers, and we're talking about Jalen's talking, commitment. There's a lot going on for a 10-4 team. So what you were pointing about leadership, his leadership right now is on full fucking display. Everybody hear that? I got binoculars on that shit now. Because you want to talk about commitment. Sorry about this, Rand. But you want to talk about commitment. Okay? And we lost 3 in a row. Well, let me see your commitment this week in the Monday. Because you better be on goddamn fire. Or you can miss me with commitments, or you can miss me with anything. And I want to see you rally a team around you. Not that you haven't. But now, after the comments in 3 straight losses, you can get a divide.
Yep.
Hey, Joe. Yo. Time's yours, as Andy said.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Tom.
I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know. Hey, guys.
Yeah, no, and
Blacked out for a minute.
Now,
I'm back.
They're doubling down on everything too, like you said, like with Sirianni and those comments. I mean, not only is the play calling egregious and the execution in terms of the offense and the quarterback egregious, but then they're doubling down with the media right now, which is like it's unfathomable to me that we're at. We were making jokes right over the week about it's like the house. It seems like there's like a house of cards. And it's starting to slowly come down, and they're trying to figure out a way to rebuild that house of cards. But because there's just way too much coming out at one time. But to get back to Jalen, because I'm sure we're gonna dive a lot deeper into all that other stuff. I still believe in the kid, and the fact that he has progressed. Oh, we got dogs barking.
I agree, dog.
I know they're not happy. The fact that they've progressed year over year, to me, it's telling because it does show his work ethic of everything. So I mean, I think he's somewhere between. I got to go take care of this. I'll be right
Yeah, we
back.
know. We know.
Change your shirt while you're at it.
Yo, I'll go next if you
and the
guys
hat.
are ready.
And yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, like everything you said, Tom, I pretty much 100% agree. Same with you, Skip, as well. I didn't like what I heard at that press conference Monday night, and I'm going to start with the commitment thing, the team commitment that you mentioned, Tom. And to me, it's like it takes a whole team. It shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm just going to, I'm going to put aside the way I played, the way my performance was, and I'm just going to just start pushing blame like onto the team now. That's not how this works, buddy. You need to just say, look, we're struggling right now. We're on a little skid. We're going to get this thing fixed. I promise you that. And that's it. And that's all I really got because quite honestly, at this point, it takes a team effort. And I just didn't like the comments I was hearing from my franchise quarterback on Monday. I think he needs to take a look in the mirror and realize that see what made you successful last year and then put it into these last 3 games. And let's clean this up and run the table, go 13-4. Hopefully we get the number 2 seed and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's still a lot to play for here. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, the Jalen conversation is one thing. Well, like having a lot to play for, which we'll get into, here in a few. I mean, that's mind-boggling, right? Like you lost 3 in a row, you hit a skid. Now, if this is the last 3 weeks of the season, I got a different feel about it, right? But when I still got meat on the bone and games to play, I can still, I'm not saying fix things, but I can be winning football games going into the dance when it's a brand new season. Because then that's when you find out who your franchise quarterbacks are. That's the brand new season. All this shit for glitz and glamour to me. You just get yourself in the dance and then the elite comes out and plays. So all the talk about Jalen, I was critical Monday night of him, rightfully so, as I should have been. But at the end of the day, you got that ability. You got that light switch. You got that light switch ability. You win football games in regular season, get yourself in the dance. Right? We've seen a lot of really good regular season quarterbacks in our history of watching football. Right? Then when the postseason came, they weren't as good. And we watch other guys that had good regular seasons, not great, but really good ones. Teams 11, 12 wins, back Super Bowl. Right? Because there's certain guys that just turn it on. Now I'm not saying we're going back to one, but we could easily see him like turn on a switch come postseason and win 2 games and be going to an NFC title game. Like, you guys think that? Anybody think that's out of the question right now? I'm going to tell you you're a moron. Not saying it's going to happen, but to say it's out of the question is moron. Moron. You want to tell me what's going to happen out in Alcatraz? That's a different conversation, babe. That's a different conversation. But a lot of assumptions. You assume you're going to Alcatraz. Right? They're going to play somebody. They ain't getting no freaking layup line. They're going to get a damn good team come to their place too before you even get there, if you got there. So everybody out there just has these assumptions like that's a wrap. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Which we'll get into. Frank, answer the poll, and then we're going to get into a little bit of trigger happy. Then we're going to get trigger happy on A2D. Welcome in to the late night.
For me, I also disagree to the poll. I think, what we saw with the real Jalen Hurts, that was last year. That was probably the real version of Jalen Hurts. I mean, going into this year, it's going to be hard to replicate that MVP caliber season, especially when you have a guy like Brian Johnson as your offensive coordinator. I don't even know what is going on with this play calling. I don't know if it's Brian Johnson making the calls or Sirianni making the calls, but this team has no flow. It's like me rapping has better flow than the Eagles' offensive play calling.
Oh, hello.
So with that, yeah, there are some flaws with the Eagles right now, especially Jalen's play. I mean, of course, Jalen's issues with reading the defense. It's like, wow, people have found out what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' offense are doing. And then there's the over-reliance on swollen, skinny Batman. There's other options. Okay, defenses have figured that out as well. But with that, they better get it together these last 3 games. You know, I don't want to see them go one and done. I want them to catch lightning in a bottle and make it to Vegas. So, right now, I disagree. They better get this together quick, and that starts on Monday.
Yeah, and I want to finish my point real quick before I got distracted, and then kind of piggyback off of what Frank was
Before
saying.
you distracted us.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, just to confirm.
You guys kept your flow. I heard you.
Yeah, well, professionals.
So listen, to his point too, I do think there is something to be said in that when you change coordinators, I don't care what Nick says. We got eyes. We ain't stupid. I don't know if it's Brian Johnson. I don't know if it's him calling the plays, but to sit here and tell me that this is the same offense as last year is absolutely egregious. It has not been the same offense as last year. The design runs and the times in the game when they're doing them haven't been the same. They haven't ran the ball consistently at all like they did last year to set up the pass. They haven't utilized Dallas Goedert this year anywhere near what they should be doing. So to tell us that this is the same offense is absolutely egregious in my opinion. So I do, for this season, give them a little bit of a learning curve, even at this point in the season, to where I can't say definitively this is who he is, simply because that's a big deal. It's a big change, and I'm not confident that the play calling. It's almost like there's no consistency. It's a week to week play. Like I know they put game plans together week to week to prepare for your opponent, but there's a consistency. There's no consistency with this offense whatsoever. None.
No, and it's a combo, right? It starts with, that's where it gets more annoying because your coach is an offensive-minded coach. So when you have no rhythm offensively and you have an offensive-minded coach, that's a concern. But again, like I get the coaching side of it in football, especially on the offensive side, right? And on the defensive side, like X to the nose, scheming, getting guys open, creative game plans. Absolutely, totally on board with that. Okay. But the other side falls on the damn quarterback. So, like, all that extra shit is just extra. Like, says Mike Groh. No, it's not. It's not, though, Josh. You know why it's not? Because you hope Jalen isn't Carson. You hope Jalen isn't Carson. Because what Jalen's doing this year is similar to Carson. It's hold the ball too long because you just had it. And this is where, like, egos and what you're used to can hurt you the following year. You go have a year where you're able to stretch the field like that. And the reason why you stretch the field is you're top 5 in running, but it's a different conversation. The reason, so you're able to get big plays. So when you start getting those big plays, same thing with Carson in 2017. The run set up the bombs. It wasn't the other way around. All right. And then once you have a year like that, you expect to be able to get those deep plays again, right? You expect to get them. Run the football enough to get those plays. Those plays haven't been there, because teams aren't stacking the box. They're playing two. I don't even go watch film on this. They go 2 safeties over the top a lot against us, and they're bringing linebackers because they're saying, we ain't scared about you throwing over the middle, right? We're not scared about that. So we play 2 safeties over top so you can't beat us deep, and we take things away from you. And that's what teams are doing. So, and we haven't had an adjustment to it. And you can scheme it all goddamn day, right? You watch that. There's 3 plays, big plays that he missed. Now, you can miss plays. You sure as hell can't be missing plays right in front of your damn face, a.k.a. DeVonta Smith, to throw in the damn double coverage. Or, sorry, throw to Quez. And if you do throw the ball to Quez, that's a Quez catch only. That ain't 50-50 shit. That's got to be aired out, man. It's got to be back in the end zone. You got to throw guys open. Like, that's my biggest concern with Jalen is the ability to throw guys open. He has moments where you see it, right, guys? Where you're like, oh, there it is. But then it's like, it's not consistent. Now, Chrome's point of being such a worker and figuring it out, or it might have been Greg's, right? But one of your points about his work ethic, getting involved in it, that's where you think you can redo it. But I'm going to keep going back. When you just had a monster year like that, now it's in your head. So somebody needs to smack it out of the head. And that's where I look at my offensive-minded head coach. To get involved on this, dude. It ain't working like last year. We're getting different defenses. Now, the coaching, like I said a million times, why don't you put a guy in motion? Like, so you can see if it's man or zone. Yeah. They don't do enough of that, but, like, I think plays are there. Like, plays are there. There's a reason Brian Johnson hasn't been fired yet. Because they have to go back and watch, and plays are open.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what –
yeah.
No, you're saying that's what we banked on early in the year, right? When it wasn't looking good, but then you look up at the end of the game and you're scoring 30 points a game, right? You know what I mean? Like, you were sitting there, it didn't look good. But you look up at the end of the game and there's 30 on the board. So you're like, all right, how bad is it really? Well, now we're seeing some of the really, really bad. But, you know, Dom, real quick, you brought up 2017, and Crum, you did as well. We didn't look good going into 2017 playoffs, right? We had those two or three games down the stretch. I know Oakland specifically, right before going into the playoffs, that we got blown out at home. And then even through the beginning of the playoffs, we struggled, right? We threw the ball off of Keanu Neal's knee. It might have been the only pass Torrey Smith caught all year, and thankfully he did. But going into there, we didn't look good, right? So we do have at least a sample of limping into it. Obviously, it's not ideal, but, you know, the old adage is just get there is true.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's get in, right? Somebody said something about Marquise on fire.
Marquise is killing him.
Who is the offensive minded coach? Kyle, right? And it's like, well, that's the problem, Kyle. It's our head coach. It's our head coach, right? So you're like, well, when's he going to help him figure it out, right? So I don't know. I'm just a player's guy, right? I'm a player in a world of coaching that I do, right? Like, I'm a player's guy, man. Like, players got to go do it, right? Like, no matter what you do, players got to go play. Players got to make blocks, right? Players got to run great routes, right? Players got to go play, right? And coaching helps that for sure. But this is an offense that was electric last year, and they can't get any type of plays.
No.
It's bad. It's bad. And again, there's still 3 games left, right? So my question, everybody, is, and, you know, me and Chrome brought this up earlier off sidebar in a conversation, but, like, you got people that are done? Like, is there people out there that are more looking forward to the off season? Is there people out
on
there?
this network?
Yeah, well, we'll go get into that, and I'll let you go on that. But, like, what? Like, am I a little less confident? Sure, I'm not an idiot, right? But they're still 10-4, right? And they still can go win 3 games and win a division, and we're out because what? You're scared. This is the whole thing. You're scared of a perennial fucking loser?
Of course
You're scared. Yeah, we're scared of perennial losers. I don't care if he designs the best game plans of all time. He's a perennial loser in big games. So we're scared of Kyle Shanahan. I'll go see Kyle Shanahan and no lights on in Alcatraz. I'll stay there for a week with him. All right? There for a week. I guarantee I get out, he's still stuck there because he can't do nothing big. So at the end of the day, like, that's what we're scared of. Like, they're loaded. I get it. But we're scared of that to the point where if we're playing an NFC title game, right? God willing, you got people that would care more about the offseason right then, or trying to go back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, are we okay? Like, anybody that brings up offseason shit when you're a playoff team and you got an opportunity to control your own destiny to win a division, and we're out. What are we even having? What are we even doing? Like, again, a lot of criticism around the Eagles right now, rightfully so. But they still have time to go into the dance at 13-4, which everybody would have signed up for.
Sure.
Because how many people on this platform had 13 wins? Not many, if at all. That's all. Like, I know I did. I don't think many other people did. There's a lot of 11s, right?
11, 12.
And rightfully so, because the schedule was hard.
Yep.
Like, it wasn't like people were out on them. People were like, man, this is a gauntlet. So you get through a fucking gauntlet at 13-4, and you're out, hypothetically. You're out. You're not even fans. It's Dryer Sheet City.
Absolutely.
Like, we didn't think trust the process. Like, we can't wait for draft night. Like, what are we talking about? Like, we're trying to win football games. We're trying to go back to an NFC title. And Kyle Shanahan and the Niners had you so freaking scared Goodness gracious, man. There's so much that can happen. There's so much that still can happen. There's 3 more weeks of football to be played. Like, lock in. Lock the hell in.
Well, and the other thing too, right? So like, I have no issue with people if they want to already start looking at, okay, in the off season, these are the things that we need to do.
That's
right?
a different conversation. Yeah, it's different.
It's a whole different conversation. And I'm just gonna call it straight out here because apparently I got called out last night on Birds of a Feather.
Let's
right?
go.
So, me and Chuck's made a little post yesterday, and he put a post on there basically saying it starts out with I'm now more looking forward to the off season than I am anything to do with the rest of the season. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially, you guys read it. So, I'm not, changing the narrative of what was being said. And my thing was, you want to go and talk about the off season, that's fine. But we're, especially for a guy like Chuck, who I did a show with for 3 years, for more than 3 years, Jesus Christ, like 4 or 5 years. You beat the drum for everybody here. You're like Mr. Fanboy with everybody. Now all of a sudden you're going to quit on a team that is they lost 3 games in a row. Now you're out. You're playing. You have a cake schedule the rest of the way. You have an opportunity to get right, and you're out. But then you're like, oh well, I'll still be cheering. Well, like if they get to Broad, then don't go to Broad because you were out. You were out after week 15. You're out. And that's my thing. Now people are starting to. That's it. Now you're not a Super Bowl. Like you don't, in your opinion, as of today, they're not a Super Bowl team. So you're out. You're now more excited for the off season after week 15. When you're in a division, you have the division driver's seat for that. Are you kidding me? It's a disgrace. That's not real fandom. That's not real fandom. Listen, I did it last year with the Cardinals, but I stuck to it. And I did this. I said I'm out. I ain't watching them this year. I hated the pitching staff. I saw what was happening with them baseball-wise, right? I didn't go back. I didn't put a rah-rah thing on. I didn't flip-flop on anything. I stayed out. I was done. I owned it.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah,
that's not even the same scenario. That's a team that was like one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah,
who shouldn't have been where they were.
That's different. Like I'm not going to waste my time this year on that, right?
Your team is 10-4 within the driver's seat to win the division. Dallas still has tough games to go. Okay, so we're not going to get the number 1 seed. So
there's no guarantee that doesn't happen.
And you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like they still got to play Baltimore.
Baltimore's this week, and the Rams end the year.
And the Rams is a tough game. You're absolutely right. Yep. McVay tends to have
at LA
the number.
It's not in San Fran. It's at LA. I think
it's a tough game.
But you can't so say this week their offense clicks, right, and things look good, right, and it looks promising. Right. And again, just using Chuck's as an example, you can't then circle back and say, I saw a lot of things that brought me back in. No, because you may. I'm not guaranteeing shit. I'm saying you may. I'm playing hypothetical. Right. Like, again, 4-10. I get it. I'm already there with you, babe. How many picks do we got? How much money? Right. But we're not. Like somebody said schedule fatigue. And listen. Maybe, but teams have up and downs in this league. The Niners did. The Cowboys did.
Lost 3 in a row this season in games that they should have won, even without Demo.
Yeah, it happens. So it happens. Yep. So now you're like, okay, we came off a stretch where we beat KC, Buffalo, right? And you're almost Dallas. Like come out, Dallas, and you almost come out of that stretch like, I need a breather, and you don't get one because then San Fran's coming to town, right? And then I need a breather. No, you got to go to Dallas.
2 games on the road. Dallas.
Yeah, now you got to go to Dallas, and then you got to go to Seattle on Monday night.
Then you got to go to the House of Horrors in Seattle where you never win.
Right. And of course, with San Fran and Dallas, they were both coming off Thursday night games, so they had that extra break.
Yeah.
Yep, the 10 days. Now, again, whatever, right? Like, that's important. I value that. Absolutely, because that extra couple of days gets you game planning already, right? So there's definitely value and substance to that, right? My point is, like, you can lose those 2 games. Like, hypothetically, like, okay, you had a bad stretch. What's magnified this is Monday.
Yes.
Right? What magnified all this is Monday. So that's what makes people nervous. That's what I get. There's where my nerves come in. Because I said, anybody asked me, dude, they ain't losing this game. You can't. I don't care if Gino, Buck, anybody else. And early on, you're like, "Yep, here they are. They came ready," and then they just went away, right? So, again, not really sure who they are, but let's see. We got 2 of the next 3 at home, right? And the furthest we get on is a bus to New York. Okay, so let's see if we get fresher legs, right? Defense wasn't on the field as much Monday night, right? Let's see how them being off the field a little bit more now helps them. I expect them to get off the field quick Monday night. All right, you expect them to, which we'll talk about on the other side. But I'm not out, man. Like, how can you be out? Like, let's say even if you're you'd be 8-6, right? Even if you're 8-6 and you're in like the last spot, hypothetically, you're out with those 3 games left.
With these 3 games coming
up,
up,
you're out. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, we've held on to worse shit here, Chucks. Yeah. We've held on to a lot worse shit that we couldn't hold on tight enough. Don't drop me. Don't drop me.
Like, to me, that's the definition of an entitlement as a fan. Then all of a sudden, now you're out. Now you're out because they're not going to have the number 1 seed. That's essentially what it sounds like to me. And then on top of it, Tom, how many times did we sit on this station with Mitch Williams when the Phillies were struggling and scuffling, and they had a series coming up against like Pittsburgh or St. Louis, and we said, this is the type of stretch that they could use right now to get things right. Particularly, we talked about at the end of the season, right?
Thanks, Jesse.
We talked about guys like Aaron Nola, certain guys, them last couple series. I think 3 out of the last 4 series were against teams that didn't have good records. And we talked about this is a chance for some of these pitchers to get some confidence going into the playoffs. Start getting get these hitters hitting at the right time. And it's the same scenario. Okay, they're scuffling, but now it's an opportunity for them to go against teams that are inferior teams and figure everything out and get right. And that's he ain't gonna be able to come on here. It's an open season. We all know that. They weren't trying to bring me on last night, Don. When I was getting text messages that I was getting called out on the air.
Yo, if somebody wants to send them the link, it's there. Feel free.
I saw this today, and it holds a lot, right? So Cowboys are 10-3, haven't played the 3rd easiest schedule. Ravens are 10-3, haven't played the 6th easiest schedule. Niners are 10-3, haven't played the 9th hardest schedule. The Eagles are 10-3, haven't played the hardest schedule. So in theory, not all 10-3s are all the same.
No, and at the same time too, right?
Well,
you have to take into account.
Well, now with 10-4, yeah.
You do take the gauntlet into account because at the front end of that, they look good, right?
That's why people only had 11 wins. That's the point.
Yeah, right.
This is the point. This is the whole circles back. This is why everybody on here, rightfully so, most people were like 11.
I think I had him with you. I think I had him 13-4.
I had 12.
I think I had 13-4.
Maybe 11.
Yeah, I just want to add too that
honestly,
because we were talking about this gauntlet thing, that if you would have told me that with that schedule and we're going to finish 13-4, Tom and everybody, I take that in a heartbeat. I'd be like, well, you know what? Everybody said we had the hardest schedule. Look how it turned out. We finished with 13 wins, so I'll take that.
That's a good football.
Listen, if we turned around and we took that stretch of games and we said, you're going to go against Miami, Buffalo, Kansas City. We thought Seattle was a good team, but maybe the worst of that grouping.
Yeah.
Dallas, and who's the one I'm missing? San Francisco. You say you're going to look at that stretch of 6 games, and you're going to come out of that at 500. We all would have signed up for that, knowing you're doing almost all of them minus the Miami game. There was a game in the middle.
It's just the way it worked. Like if you would have won one, lost one,
7 of 8. Because really, you go back to because it was Miami. Then I think it was Dallas. Then I think there was another game. Then we ended up.
No, it was Miami, Washington, then Dallas.
Washington was in between.
Yeah, but either way,
so Miami, Washington, Dallas.
To the point.
There you go.
To those 6 teams, right? To those 6 teams, like if you just want to. If you just want to, it's the perception of it, right? Because they lost 3 in a row. So if you just want to mix your losses a little differently, and you win Seattle, but say you lost to one of the other teams like Washington, well, you're still in the same spot. So it's a week-to-week league. So again, your backs are really pressed against the wall right now in terms of like playing better football. So if the pressure's on that, it ain't on me. Like, as a fan, like, it's on that, man. So why would I quit? Like, why would I stop watching? Why would I do any of that kind of crap when I bet you he did not have them at like 12 or 13 wins? Because I bet you he had a bunch of question marks. All right. So I guarantee he didn't have them that much. And my post today had nothing to do with like taking shots at people because they didn't have that win total. It was more saying that like the majority of people out there, because of the schedule, didn't expect 13 wins if we got there. It was 11, 12. So 13 is more than 12 last time I counted. So at the end of the day, they exceeded expectations then for people, right? To me, no, you're right on par if you get to 13. You're on par for me or Chrome, whoever else said that number. Now you're on par. So you're doing everything I asked you to do. It might not look a certain way. We talked about this, Greg. This ain't no fucking beauty contest. It doesn't mean you should be getting your ass kicked or 92, going a 92-yard drive to end the game either, right? Yep. So there's things that shouldn't be happening. But when you still have an opportunity, and as a coach, I be pressing, man. I be pressing this shit. You ain't cleaning out a locker today. You ain't doing your exit interviews. You got football still to play. So you want to get your ass off of Twitter, stop talking to fans that don't play, focus on playing, focus on schemes, right? Focus on how you can, whatever you can do to help this football team win games instead of arguing on Twitter. To try to save your names. They feel like everybody's trying to save their names. AJ Brown, what fucking name you got to save? Who's running you through the mud? Idiots. Idiots are running you through the mud. You were with a Super Bowl team last year, and they're 10-14 this year. So anybody running you through the mud's an asshole. Now, Darius, you can get run through the mud because you talk too much. But why are you on Twitter too? Now you're hurt, Twitter away. But you guys get what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to protect their damn name. Go protect winning a football game. Right? Instead of trying to protect everybody's damn image. He's a 2023 athlete. Image up. Go play football, man. This ain't patty cake. This ain't baseball one-on-one bullshit, which I love baseball. It's a team sport. Sorry, I'm fucking pissed. These guys talk too much, and I love talking.
I know, and but again, you throw that. So you throw in Washington. It's always a tough matchup for us. You throw that 8-game stretch. You come out of that 5-3. We're signing up for that all day.
Absolutely,
all day.
Oh, no,
you're just not signing up for the 3 straight losses. That's the point.
Correct.
That's it. But I'm not. You can't change how it works.
If we were ending the season, or we only had one game to go after that, I'd be more concerned. But the fact that you have this 3 games at the end where you can take a step back, reevaluate, and start feeling good about yourselves and work on the things you need to do when you hit playoff time and gain some confidence back as individuals and as a team, I'm good. And listen, I'm not happy about a lot of things.
No.
But at the end of the day, I'm not jumping off the ship.
I got a new week this week.
And I got no respect for people that do jump off the ship.
Yeah,
it ain't just one person.
I got a new week.
It's a whole lot of people that jump off the ship this week. My fucking Facebook and social media was full of people jumping off the ship.
Well, like there's different things. Like I brought up, like, remember saying that we didn't have to sign him last year? Like we didn't have to. And everybody like pressed me in the comments. Like, what do you mean, Tom? How dare you say that? And I'm like, dude, I'm not taking a shot. I'm playing smart business. I got a guy under a contract and a small one. Everybody's worried about getting the number early. Let me make sure he's the guy. Right? Go have a good year again, and and you ain't leaving this complex without a deal. You guys get what I'm saying? You're not smacking a guy in the face because you didn't get a deal done this summer or spring, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Have him come back and pull it off another year, and then you're like, okay, bank's open. So, but that's not. And I said, maybe he's not. I don't know if he's a franchise guy. I hope he is. I hope this is just a bad stretch, right, guys? So it's not like I'm out on him. I don't want to trade him, right? I have concerns of him right now, and some big ones, right? But you got 3 weeks to feel better about yourself. And I'll say it again: winners win come postseason time. So we gonna freaking find out around here. This shit ain't hard. It's not hard. You go find out. This team's good enough to win football games in the postseason. So is the quarterback. Because you ain't going to have all the dog and pony show around you forever. You ain't going to have all that good stuff around you forever. So at the end of the day, it is now show me your leadership that we all grade you as an A++ on, right? Show me your ability to win football games, which we all give you a lot of love on, even when you are turning the football over. And when postseason comes, go be elite, man. Because the rest of this shit don't matter to me. That's the beauty contest of regular season. You get in the dance like the last 5 minutes in an NBA game. You find out guys that got chances to go to Canton. This shit ain't hard.
And it's funny, too, how spot on Vegas is, right? Eagles over-under for wins was 11.5.
Jesus.
Like, I mean, just look how spot on Vegas is. You know what I mean? And it's scary, right? It's scary. That's why Vegas is lit up 24/7.
It's true. It's so true.
Well, Sweeps, you must not heard his clarification. Not that I agree with his clarification, but you must not heard it.
Yeah, you didn't remember what I said.
Meredith says she's here for the Christmas attire. Oh.
See? See?
It's the only
Glad to have
person
you
so
on,
far.
Meredith. Glad to have you
Meredith,
on board.
Yeah, you're the only one so far.
That's okay. I'm happy about that.
Marquise, we were to he said not signing him after the Super Bowl immediately would have ate us alive. I hear that, and that's why they did it, right? But me, I'm like, why are we talking contract rate? You know, so whatever. That doesn't mean that's just a personal thing. Like, not personal against Jalen, just like, okay, let me see you do it again, right? Like, go do it again. You don't gotta have the same year, but go prove you're top 8 quarterback, 7, 6, 5, right? Just go prove you're in that conversation, and then the bank opens up. We just open up the door here. But I don't know. It's weird because we don't have that like elite team left. So I think that's like screwing with people.
Yeah.
But like we just lost to a team that isn't elite.
No.
So
let's just beat somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't care who it is. Let's beat somebody.
Yeah, Greg, you weren't on Monday night, but me and Sleeps were talking. Like, it's a whole different mood. You go rattle off 3 in a row, no matter who you're playing.
100%.
And now you're being talked about a little different. Like, Dallas would beat Little Sisters of the Poor by 30.
Dallas beat everybody.
By 30, and
they
they get
stuck
work under the table, right? Feels so good, right? So, like, you know, at the end of the day, you go rattle off 3 and you beat up on some people. Well, the perception now becomes more of, look at them going into the dance hot. Here come the Eagles flying in. So miss me on quit. You know what I mean? Miss me on quitting on your team and all that. And we find out who Jalen is, like any quarterback in this city, when the lights get the brightest. Right? Why is it? Hold on. Michael, first off, you said Jalen is a franchise quarterback. I appreciate the comment, Mike. He said Jalen is a franchise quarterback. Saying anything else is blasphemy. Love a good Stephen A word. He's coming off finishing second in MVP. Mike, how many years did he do that for? 1. Like, I'm not against the argument of like saying he's not a franchise quarterback, right? Like, I'm not saying he's not a franchise quarterback. I'm giving just a point that you didn't need to sign him right then. Okay? I'm not telling you. You look at the quarterbacks around the league, Mike, they're horrific. So he's obviously somebody's franchise quarterback, right? But what he did last year is 1 year. It's not like he came off 2 straight years of that type of performance. And you're like, okay, there's a big body of work. You're not discrediting that year, but you want to have a similar type year, which he's not having, Mike, right? But again, he had a great postseason last year. All right. And besides that fumble costing us a Super Bowl, he played great besides that. Okay. So can he do it again? Michael, can he do it again to really put the nail in the coffin for anybody out there that might believe that he's not worth that money? You know, that's on him. But Mike, if he goes in the playoffs and he lays a dud and throws for 120 or 140 with like a pick and no TDs, like we're talking he's a franchise quarterback. Like we're just talking a push touchdown. Like I'm paying $255 for a push. Like, I mean, how many passing touchdowns does he have compared to how many rushing? And again, I don't care how you score, but the point is like there's allowed to be some question marks on one, how we define a franchise quarterback, but really on if he is. I don't know. I'm like, what is that? He said, how many quarterbacks finished second MVP at 24? I mean, like, I don't know. I don't have that number in front of me, but that doesn't like crown somebody's ass. Like that doesn't make you automatically elite for the rest of your life. This isn't like a participation because you had one great year, so now you're elite forever. Like, you got to understand, like, when you have that kind of year, the game plans on how to stop you, especially when you're a Super Bowl team, are off the charts. So people are figuring out how to slow you down and stop you, right? Just like Tyrese Maxey said. Like, when he started scoring 30, the defenses shift how they play him, right? And now you as a player have to make an adjustment back. We're at the point of Jalen right now that, Mike, he needs to make that adjustment back to what he's seeing defenses do against him. That's the facts. That's the damn facts. And like I'm Mr. Green, Michael. I love Green. You understand? I love him. And I love my guys. I love the kid. But the facts is, like when teams make adjustments to you, now you're year 3 per se, right? In a way, and coming off a monster year, now you have to prove it that you can adjust back.
19 throwing to 14 rushing.
Okay. Well, Mike, I don't think it's crucified. It's criticism. Like, you're saying it means they deserve time to grow without being crucified on a week-to-week basis. You ain't calling. You ain't. Yeah, and you ain't calling the dial, Mike. Like, you ain't. This is why you're here. You want to crucify? Go there, right? If you want real on like, oh, that ain't good enough, come on here. That's it. That's all the conversation is. I ain't benching them. I ain't talking about fucking Mariota. Like, we ain't having these conversations of trading them. Like, none of them conversations are happening.
We got real issues.
Yeah, we're talking about, dude, can you make the adjustment back? Can you prove to us you can? We all believe in you here. We ain't looking for clicks. We're looking for wins. There's a difference on why this was started. Again, go there if you're looking for clicks. If you're looking for wins, you come to A2D, because that's what we're trying to do here. Just trying to win football games. Thanks, God.
Not for nothing, but Carson Wentz would have won MVP at 24 years old when he got hurt. Still finished 3rd in the voting. But the whole being in the MVP finalist at 24, that's not exactly a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, it doesn't like you're great for life. And Cowboy Nation, Danny, happy birthday, I guess. But
hey, we share the same birthday.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say a word. I mean, your quarterback hasn't won shit, so I wouldn't blah nothing. I won't blah anything. And Jason, who's an Eagles fan, why are you blah?
I don't know. I don't know if he's mocking him.
I think they're blahing each other. They're having a blah off.
They're blahing each other. They're
nice.
It's a blah job.
Blah job. Have I got a blah job?
Blahgate.
Yeah, and must be wise. Maji says we need to be blessed to have a team like this right now. Let's enjoy it. Well, yeah, enjoy winning games because that's fun, but we haven't. And like Greg said, this is Philly. This ain't like, I don't know, it ain't Tennessee.
Yeah, we're just lucky to be here. Like with this roster, I mean, we expect the most, right? You know what I mean? Like, we expect to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we're having this conversation right now, because the last 3 weeks aren't up to our expectations of what this team was built and what this team should be playing like, right? This is why this conversation is being had. Like Tommy said, we ain't running anybody out of town. What we watched the last 3 weeks, and especially the last week, like we said with Seattle, is just completely unacceptable.
Yeah, don't pom me. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I get distracted and pissed off. Like, don't come in here. Not you, Mike, just in general. Like, let's go Eagles. Like, knock it off. Like, I don't need that right now. I need a win. I need a damn win. And if you only Monday night and you're going to sit here and pop fucking me and tell me that's franchise shit, miss me. Fucking miss me.
Hey, Tom, I got one for you, too. when I was talking to somebody about this game Monday, I don't know where I was at. Might have been in a store somewhere. Somebody saw me with my Eagles hat on, and they asked me what I thought. And they said, "Well, let me ask you this: do you think Jalen was selfish and they should have maybe just started Marcus Mariota, give him some time to rest?" And I shut the guy down right off the bat. I said, "No, if your franchise quarterback wants to play, he plays. Doesn't matter if he's sick. I don't care what it is. No, he's a backup for a reason. No, the franchise quarterback plays." So as soon as he heard that, he shut up right away. But I was looking at the guy like, come on, man. Are you kidding me with this?
Yeah, like I don't even want to factor in like he was sick.
Well, that's
like,
a moron listening to David Carr.
Yeah,
he didn't play good. Like I just don't know how you leave Monday night and say and you can stamp that's franchise. Like we scored 15 points a game the last 3 games.
Well, I mean, Mike down here is bringing up.
We're gonna bring up last year.
He brought up MVPs down here, right? That's a regular season award, bud. So we're talking about in terms of at 24 years old having that caliber of a season. They both did the same thing.
Yeah. I'm not even doing those comparisons.
But I'm saying it's not a crown though. You can't come in here and say how many guys did it 24. We watched a guy do it 6 years ago, and look where he's at now. He's backing up. He's backing up Stafford over there in fucking.
Yeah, it's not a comparison. It's telling him we when he asked the question that we had an answer and it was here. We're not comparing the two.
How many quarterbacks? We saw it 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's all we're saying. And everybody's like, "Oh, stop with the comparison." We're not comparing. We're not comparing anything. We're just telling you this is when it happened. He was second in the voting. I mean,
he was third. He would have been first.
Third, second. Does it goddamn matter? Because he was elite that year, just like Jalen was.
Yeah.
We know, Mike. We know. Jalen, first of course, didn't play in the playoffs. He didn't play. He had 5 minutes in Seattle.
You asked the question. We gave you an answer.
Yeah, we're not comparing Carson and Jalen. I said it. You must have missed it. What I said before on this show right here. I said he had a great playoff last year besides the fumble. He had a great postseason. Can he do it again? That's all I said. This ain't what you did last year. So what? Somehow he struggles in game 1, right? Throws for 140 yards, we lose. And you're going to talk about 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we talking about?
Gonna do.
Like, I don't play that. That means that, Mike, I love you, bro, for the comments. I do, and we're just having a good debate here. But to me, that's a poster on the wall, on the ceiling. Not even a wall poster. That's above the bed type stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, I love Jalen. He's a great kid. But it doesn't mean that we got to have a bunch of blinders on and we only see here. Come on, guys. Nobody's running out of town. But if you can't be fair and objective, then you shouldn't be having real sports conversations on shows. That's all I mean by that. That doesn't mean Tommy gets pom-pom preseason. You all know this. So, Mike, preseason, I'm, hey, let's go.
13 wins.
Right? Like, I might get to 15-1 or 15-2. So, just relax. You're allowed to be critical of a guy that you hold to a higher standard. Then what's the point then? What's the point of all of it in any sport where Joe Embiid has been smoked in this city, and rightfully so to a point, right? He ain't healthy when it's the biggest moment, right? But he's going to take all that heat, and he's won an MVP, right? And every time there's a great stat about him this year, people are like, well, talk to me in the postseason when he's putting up historic type shit. Like, he gets smoked, but Jalen, who has 1 year off the hook, come on, dude. Come on. If we all got eyeballs, we got one that's generational and the other that's really good.
Well, and we've talked about this a million times too, right? If you think we're being critical, if this kid is everything that we all have heard and believe in, anything we're saying, he's 3 times harder on himself. He self-recognizes and understands. We're not saying anything that he doesn't know what is going on. So again, at the same time, he's just not one of these guys like AJ and it's like who have to come out and defend themselves. He understands the work he has to do.
Michael, we're back. All right. This is where I agree with you, right? Like, this is where, like, first off, you're texting in, you're not calling in. It's a little different per se, right? In terms of how we go back and forth in our conversations. But understand something. And Greg and Chrome and Frank and Blake done enough shows with me this year, and they've preached the same things. This isn't just a Tom preach. Like that he just finds ways to win games, right? And at the end of the day, it's all that matters to us, right? I'm not in it for the beauty contest, right? So he's led us 10-4. Absolutely. That's awesome. We're in a great spot, right? He's like, I'm critical. And he goes, I recognize that he hasn't played as well as last year, but he's still my guy. And I don't regret the contract. Totally fair. He's still my guy. I don't regret the contract. It's more of, did you need to do it then? It's a conversation. It's not regret. It ain't my money. So I hate that excuse, not my money, but I don't regret it because I love the kid. He is my guy too. But Joel Embiid's my guy, right, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been hard as shit on him. So, like,
and rightfully so, right?
But those guys don't go at you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like you get critical of Darius, he's going to start posting his stats when you watch him not want to tackle me or you, right? So, like, Jalen ain't doing that shit. Now, what he said after Monday, Mike, right? What he said after Monday is the problem. Now, doesn't mean it's wrong. You talked about commitment after an embarrassing loss. All right. Now it's up to you to rally a team because that's what great leaders do in every sport. So if you're the leader we think you are, and we're going to preview it on our side, you come out guns blazing Monday. All right? You're like Santa delivering touchdown passes. So I think we're on the same page, Mike and Chrome, right? Like in our conversation. Like we're not far off. Like nobody's saying like he's not worth it. We just want to see more consistency because that's what guys that get paid this money do. Howie, I mean, you may be right. He said you guys paid a running back $255 million. Maybe, because like when people compare him to Lamar, that's a joke because Lamar's got a rifle and one of the quickest releases in football. So they ain't even the same, man. And nobody's as electric as Lamar's feet. So, like, they ain't the same. Like, with all due respect to Jalen, he don't got that zip. He don't zippity doo diet. So, we talked about this last year. He's got to work more on anticipation, right? Because you don't have to have the biggest arm to be really good. We talked about Drew Brees, right? And like Chrome and Greg said, he's such a worker. You figured his offseason, he's going to get back to work with it, right? And talking about over the middle and reading defenses better. So, like, I ain't out on Jalen. Now, you come throw 3 picks in the wild card round. We're going to have a long offseason. All right, on the other side, a chance to win money, baby. $300 on the line. Who's going to get it? Who's going to nail the score this week on Christmas? Who wants a little Christmas sack from Uncle Tommy? Who wants a little Christmas sack from Uncle Tommy Santa? Well, Chrome's going to slide right down your motherfucking chimney. And you know what? You start when you lose 3 in a row, F-bombs seem to flow a little more too, right? It's been we really had a good run here. We had a great 11 weeks.
Yeah, we really did.
And now it's like I'm so mad, but I still believe, right? We're going to talk about the boys on the other side. We're going to preview Eagles, Giants, Christmas. Dude, we got a Christmas in store here in Philadelphia too. Delicious, right? We got Eagles at 4:30.
Better not.
We got Sixers at 8. Right? That's a fun day. And a 2-piece nugget coming. 2 wins by both. Just to wrap up a great Christmas. Oh my God. I can't wait. Cannot wait. This is A2D Wednesday nights. It's only on A2D radio. And then I also got an announcement to make before the end of the show too. So stay with us.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My Nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Find yourself in a hat. Hats.com. Use code Philly, 15% off. This is A2D Wednesday nights. We're brought to you by Royal Billiards. Go check them out, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA. They got everything for your man cave needs and hot tubs, which I could use a tub right now. But the cold tubs are the thing now, you know? Now people are cold tubbing. So I might get a cold tub. But that's tough, you know what I mean?
It's commitment.
It's tough. It's a commitment, man. Well, you know, that's the daily commitment of being like, my thing's going to shrivel. I'm like George Costanza.
I dip my toe in the 70-degree pool out there, and I go, I ain't getting in that.
Like Georgia Costanza getting out. You got an innie. Look at Tom with an innie. All right. A2D Wednesday nights. We got to get into this preview and predictions. Eagles, Giants, Monday afternoon football, Christmas Day football. And our preview and predictions are brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com. Go check them out, baby. Go check them out. So, such a weird week, you know. So we're all black, but midnight green helmet. Not that it ever matters to me, but I like that they went all black. It's a good trend versus the Giants, you know, in the past, a little blackout game. I mean, Giants defense is okay. You know, they're not terrible. They seem to compete.
They do a lot of blitzing.
Well, we know that. Wink loves to bring pressure.
Wink definitely likes to bring it.
We've had sex. We've had success with Wink and his pressure. Bro, it's long days, man. Not one of you on here laughing's got a kid.
So I'm going to timestamp that laughing. One.
No, here we go. Here we go. All right. You're talking dicks on the air to one day. All right. You knock it off.
No, not just 3. Triple dick.
Triple. There was 3 of them. You're right. You missed that part. You put your head down. But yeah. All right, where
you're getting ready to give your score.
Where are we?
We were doing things to Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that or not.
What is going on here?
Hey, Wink.
With his sleeveless sweatshirt.
Yeah. Winky. We were talking cold tubs.
Christmas surprises with Wink.
Yeah, we went cold tubs, sex with Wink, and 3 pieces off the face. So a lot going on here. Like I feel like their defense is competitive, right? Like seems like they're always sort of keeping them around, even though their offense is garbage.
Yeah.
So this is a week you want to see. This is the week you want to see that offense sort of get back in rhythm. You really want a rhythm week. Did they coach put 34 up on their ass? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's asking a lot from this offense. I tried 30 last week. They didn't get there. But they're due for one, right? Like they're due for a little explosion, right? Give me 34 14. Roll it up. Christmas Day, roll it up, baby. Because everybody's going to be back on the saddle. I see you, Chucks. I see all you guys out there scared to death to come on here. I'll send anybody goddamn link who quit. Anybody out there? You quit on this team? Here's the link for you. Circle back. Let's go. Come on in. 34-14 Eagles. This is a roll job, and this game's never questioned.
12. Eagles minus 12,
Oh, I
42 and a half.
So you're about to give a prediction at 12.
I mean, it might as well, right?
Greg was
Here we
gonna
go.
say 12. Eagles were gonna score 12.
What is this? Noah 3-3 to the Jets last year?
You got 12-9.
12-9.
Elliott for the dub.
Nail biter. Elliott. No. I go 31-20.
Okay.
31-20 Birds.
All right. Martian, he won't come on here. That's like, you understand the kind of puppy you're going to get on here?
He's got a safe place on Tuesdays.
Like, you want to get a kid, you going to get a kitty cat just purring. That's all you're getting. You ain't going to get no pit bull come in here.
You want me to text him and ask him?
Text him in. He knows what he's walking into. He's walking into a bee's nest. You know what I mean? He's walking into a hornet's nest right here. You don't want to do that. Chucks is I love Chucks, but I'll roast his ass. You know what I mean? That's what sports are fun, right? That's why sports are fun. I love a guy, but I will smoke you. I will smoke a bad take up in here. Love smoking bad takes. No, Shucks isn't. No. Well, yeah, he's a smoke doctor for sure. D-Slayer right with me, baby. What up, brother? He says 35-14 Birds. Roll job. Dale's got 21-17 Eagles.
Ooh,
Dynasty
not Dale's.
Dynasty got that's a little close for Conklin. No. Dynasty got 27-17. At this point, I'm not going to be mad about 21-17. Don's a jerk off. He's walking around here with a tie. All right. And Martian's got 24-14 Eagles. All right. And you would feel good about that too. Where's Marquise at? Where'd he go? Marquise, where's your score? Come on, guy. Win some money here. Wait, another score. Sorry, this one's way up here. Where'd that one go? Must be the wise. 23-17 Eagles. Defense wins the game. Uh-oh.
Oh.
All right, Martian just jumped up. 40. He's switching up in here. 44-6 Birds. Love it. Greg Miller, 30.
About the Vikings.
33-13 Eagles for Greg Miller. All right, who else? Give your scores.
All right, I guess I'll go. This game is going to be every time when we get together with the Giants. I think you know this, Tom. It's always a tough matchup. I don't care how bad the Giants are, how good they are. It doesn't matter. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Birds pull it out. I'm going to go 31-27 Eagles.
Ooh.
Close one, but we pull it out and we get back on the winning track.
Yeah, if we give up 27 points in this game, the defense should just be taken out. You know what I mean? Just take them all out.
To cutlets.
Crone, what do you got?
I got to think of one of those weird scores for Greg over here. Can't think of
What's the percent Chucks comes on?
I'm going to go 32-16 Birds.
32-16.
32-16 little triple dick explosion.
Yeah, you're a weirdo. Frank, before you go, what's the chances 0 out of 10 that Chucks comes on here? 10 being he comes on for sure, or 1 being no show?
He's not coming on.
What do you think, Frank?
Tommy DeVito, Danny DeVito, Danny Bonaducci, Bonnaroo. Eagles win 24-13.
24-13, right? Or 14? What do you say?
13.
13? Okay, the other question. What's the percent that Chucks comes on here?
He's not coming on.
Crum, shut the fuck up.
I already talked to him. He's not coming on.
Oh, my God. Row G, 24-17 Eagles. Imagine not wanting to defend yourself.
I don't think it's that. He's in the middle of something. I know what he's doing. He can't come on. So we'll invite him back next week after we win.
In the middle of something. You know what he's doing.
Yeah, he sent me a text, but he's not able to come on.
This is the way you said it. Like, what are you in the bed with him? Think you know what he's doing?
Is he doing things with Wink?
Yeah, he would Wink.
You want to gaze? You want to gaze into behind the camera at my house?
No. All right, player of the game. Is it the quarterback?
Do it.
Who? Him?
Yeah, do it.
Did I do it last week though?
I know you want to.
Or
No,
did
I thought
take-
you went AJ last week.
Did I go AJ?
Yeah.
That aged. All right, dude. It's on him, bro. It's on you, Jalen. It's on you, Mr. Franchise.
Tom's yours.
Mr. Jordan Gear. Mr. Putting a mask on the plane by yourself. I knew we were losing, by the way. And I'm on anti-mask. But, like, who else is on the goddamn plane, bro? You took a private plane. What are you doing? You worry about your agent? You're good, bro. You got her paid. You got her sick as a dog. It don't matter. I saw that. I said, yep, we're losing. Nobody's on the damn plane.
Jordan's sick game played out well.
Yeah. There was a meme I was going to post, but I can't. It was like Jordan and Pippen, and the bottom was like Jason Kelsey picture, like Jason's face over Pippen, and a clown on Jalen. And I was like, I can't do this to our demographic. You know what I mean? You lose guys like Michael and never listen again. No, Jalen, I'm going to say, well, here we go. Here we go. Because how do you beat a blitz, right? Passing wise, you throw at the blitzer. Make sense? Like when you attack a blitz schematically as a quarterback, you throw where pressure's coming from. You don't throw away from pressure, right? Your immediate read one is attack pressure, right? Because that's where more guys are coming from, and that means more one-on-one. So with the pressure coming, can he attack it? And can he throw for over 300 yards? Can he have a big day? Now, little credit to him outside of Dallas game is the game against San Fran, rain, slop, right? And then obviously the last one, slop. But no excuse. Now you need to go have a 300-yard game. 2 TDs in the air minimum, and maybe even like 25, 30 yards rushing. Like we need a monster Jalen game.
Like it. I will go I'll go DeAndre Swift. I think he finally gets in the end zone after a long time without getting in. And I like to, Tommy, as you mentioned, like with the blitz, right? I hope they utilize him a little bit out of the backfield, with some short passes or some blitz relief, and he's able to use his explosiveness.
Yeah. Who did you say got
DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, he made a big bonehead decision in that Seattle game. And when you look at him slide, you're like, oh, okay. Like, that's smart. Dude, you probably could have got another 10 yards. Right? If you're looking to run, cut back in. Like, what do we –
Yeah.
Like, and then you go deep. Like, that's where it was just confusing. Are you trying to run the clock down, or are you – like, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
That's where we're sort of just not in rhythm, right? We're just not,
absolutely.
Like, it just – stuff doesn't make sense. Like, I got no problem with you going down there, but then I'm putting it in your belly again. Right? Yeah. Like, it makes sense? I'm just going to put it in your belly again. That game's over. All we got to do is kick a field goal. Like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. What are we down at the 40? Right? We're at the 40, 45 on the pick the Quaz guys, right? Around there?
I think so. I didn't see it. I was in the air. But I think by looking at the highlights, yeah, you were on our side of the 50 for sure.
Whatever. But yeah, just wanted to mention that because that's not talked about a lot. Like,
yeah,
you slide down and try to run clock, and then you throw deep. Like, what are you trying to trick somebody? And I got no problem with the call again, but it's got to be aired.
Right.
Blake, who's your offensive player of the game?
I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert, and I don't know how you guys view this in Monday night, but I thought one of the things I thought they were doing well early on in that game was they were getting it to Goddard. They were going over the middle. And I don't know what happened in the second half. It seemed like they got away from that. But I think this time, I think they learned from their mistakes, and I think they're going to go to him early and often. I say a big game for him. I'm saying 9 catches, what about $145 and a couple scores because he tends to do well against the Giants. So I'm going to go with Goddard this week.
And he's due. It's a good one. Chrome,
And he's due, too. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think it would be crazy not to go for anybody to go with the absolute messiah of MetLife, and that would be one Mr. Boston Scott. I mean, somebody has to go with Boston Scott at this point. I'm going to do it.
Dynasty was looking for it.
You know what? I forgot about him.
Literally, there is no player anywhere that I could think of in my lifetime, I think, that's had the success against one singular team and nobody else than Boston Scott has had against the Giants. So, to me, Boston Scott maybe gets a ton here. Maybe an honorable mention, maybe Jason Kelsey, just for not getting a false start this game, maybe.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That was so bogus.
Yeah, that one was egregious.
They're just finding ways to call penalties on that play.
But no, it's for me, hands down, somebody's got to do it. I'm going with the Messiah of MetLife. That would be one Mr. Boston Scott. Even though the game's here.
I might as well piggyback off of Chrome. Give me Boston Scott as well.
Oh, piggyback talk.
Let's go.
Doing double duty.
All right, Boston Scott. All right, defensively. We really need like a Son Reddick game. You know, like he hasn't been good enough.
Our pressure, our stats on pressures is horrendous, and sacks total, right? I mean,
yeah. So I'm gonna go with Son Reddick.
The pressures there, they just can't get home.
Yeah,
I don't even know if the pressure's there. It's weird, right? Like sometimes you're right. Sometimes you feel it. Like the one Jordan Davis was running right in the Drew Lock, like right at him. And if he just would have put his hands up, he don't get that pass, big play over the middle of the locket, I think it was. So it's like, you're right. Like sometimes we're right there, but we're not nearly as good as we are last year. And I'll say it again, you know, like, I don't know why you're just trading D ends in the middle of the season. And especially one that's a really good run stopper in Derek Barnett. I think that's fucking stupid. That might be the dumbest thing ever. As I watched him get a sack last week in Houston and make a big play in the running game as well when I was watching on Red Zone. So I'm not just crowning the guy, but like, what are we doing, dude? Like, now you're running Josh Sweat 1 million snaps. First off, he can't stop the run well enough. I don't care about the big play he had in the run. He's not like a big-time run stopper. Either's Reddick. So now you kill yourself on the edges. Like, don't get me started. But I'm going to go. That's who I'm going with.
But to your point, Tommy, the Eagles are 13th in sacks, 24th in sack rate, and 32nd in third down sack rate.
Well, that's the difference, Greg.
Add that on top of it, they're 26th in takeaways.
Can you say
again, last year they were historic on the lines, and then also last year they were 5th in takeaways. So you look at two major differences from last year.
No, you're right. Can you send me those numbers?
I will.
Because that's major. And if you have last year's too, I'll take them. Because that's the difference, guys. Like pressure. You can't go from being like that good to nothing, right? Like that's tough. And then you still won 10 games.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm going the other side. I'm going Josh Sweat. We need one of those two to have a big game.
Good one. Yep.
I guess I'll go for this one. I'm going to go with the baby Rhino himself. Give me Jalen Carter. And by the way, the Giants have allowed over, we'll say a good number, over 70 sacks this season. So, yeah. I think the Rhino's probably going to at least solidify his case for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Or at least improve his odds. I don't know what the current odds are for Defensive Rookie of the Year right now, but yeah, I think this will be a field day for him.
Yeah, go one. I hope it is. I hope it is for all three of those guys, right? I hope all three of those guys up front really get after it. It's time. It is absolutely time. Because you're not going to win like this.
No.
You're just not going to win like this. And nobody's doing anything different. And the funny thing is, like, when they bring pressure, they can't get home either. It's like the weirdest shit in the world. But I will say this, Matt Patricia is better than Sean Desai. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Called a good defensive game up until
He did.
obviously,
Yeah.
they got scorched on that last.
That ain't even him though. That's Bradbury. In reality, like every pass went. On that 92-yard play, that every ball went against James Bradbury. Did you guys see that? I posted it earlier.
Speaking of, is my defensive player of the game.
Oh,
big bounce back game against his former ball club, James Bradbury.
He allowed every catch on that 92-yard drive. Goodness, Mary and Joseph.
Acho did a really good breakdown of that whole drive, and he kind of I don't know if anybody saw it, but he kind of phased it as, was it the player's fault or the call fault, right? The coach fault. And it kind of broke down evenly. You know what I mean? Like bad call on a couple plays, but then Bradbury getting toasted a couple plays too. Like,
there was a couple times
got toasted.
Well,
there's a couple times they didn't drop the safeties back for double coverage in the back.
Well,
and that's on the coaching.
You paid good money to be considered a number one / with not a big time number 2 corner. Like, I got to be able to leave you on islands sometimes, man. Like, I don't put that on coaching. I got to be able to leave you on islands. You cannot get beat deep on that play than the game per se. Like, that cannot happen. Like, especially if you don't have anybody over top. You know what I mean? Like, if you have nobody over top of you, you can't get beat there. So that's on player. That's on the player knowing situational football. So, but I think he did a better job. So we'll see. We'll see how that continues defensively. Because he did Chris Long talked about it. He did a really good job in New England when he was there. And he said, dude, we didn't have a great defense. And we were ranked high in everything. So it's coming from a pretty good name of respect that I respect a lot more Chris Long than I do Darius Slayton. Now, we ain't talking about a head coach. Big difference here. You know what I mean, Don? We ain't talking about it. A head coach. And they weren't ready yet, Don. The biggest thing Detroit did, and we'll get to the games, but the biggest thing Detroit did was Jared Goff. In reality, like that trade of Stafford, you thought Detroit would go the other way. And Jared Goff revitalized his career. He really did. A lot of credit to Jared Goff, man, because that ain't a number 1 overall pick bust in reality. Because you guys remember, we all thought like, oh my God, baby hands Goff. No shot he's better than Wentz. Well, he is. He is. Jared Goff has had clearly, easily a better career than Carson Wentz. It's not even close.
Well, he's still playing, first of all.
Well, that too, but just the body of work.
What he's been able to do in Detroit, nobody saw coming.
Nobody wins in Detroit.
No.
And you can't take away the fact that he got the Rams to a Super Bowl too.
You thought, you're right, Chrome. Yeah, absolutely. But you thought going to Detroit with a rookie head coach, he was going to be a stopgap until they get the number 1 pick and get a quote unquote real quarterback in there. Right? He said, here's my baby hand stopgap.
No, I've always liked him. And I like him even more in a dome setting too.
Yeah.
Right? Like I like him in warm weather dome settings. But man, he's good, dude. I give Jared Goff a lot of credit. I like Jared Goff. Now, if you pressure like any guy who doesn't move a lot, then you can make him have a really bad game. But he's been really good, dude. He revitalized his career a little bit. He was an afterthought, right? He was like that, like you said, Greg, like, oh, in that Stafford trade, it's like, all right, you're just a stopgap. Well, he said, hold my stopgap here.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to do?
Wait, did you give your defensive player of the game?
No, not yet. So,
I thought you did. All right.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to go with this might be ballsy on my part, but I think I'm going to go with Sidney Brown. I like how he's playing. Yeah, I think he's playing well, and
he ain't going to tackle you, but
yeah,
he's around the football, Blake.
Yeah,
he's definitely got high energy, right, Blake? He's definitely to your point. Like, okay, you missed some tackles that I would like for you to have, but fuck, at least you're around the football. So there's another F-bomb. At least you're around the football.
Absolutely.
To your point, so like I like that pick.
And I really like the potential he's got. I think this is just a start of something special with this guy. I think this guy's going to be a very special player down the line and in the future for this franchise.
I agree. I think he's high upside. And I'll say it again, the hardest position to play as a rookie in this league is safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's hands down, ask anybody, the hardest position to play. It's just there's so much you got to know, right? But I think he's played really good. Martian, yeah, shout out to the Sixers, right? That's a big win tonight. Timberwolves really good team. I think they go overlooked because they're the Timberwolves, but They are really good.
Yeah, they have some good talent. Anthony Edwards is pretty good.
Well, Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns are like,
Yeah.
that's a great 1-2 punch in this league. Because Anthony Towns is so efficient.
Yeah.
He's such as an efficient player.
Especially since he's added, to your point, the efficiency from the deep, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could guard him early in his career because he couldn't shoot it, but once he added that 3-point, he's become borderline unguardable at times.
Yeah, and Don, real quick, I did love Gibbs, as you remember. Chucks did not. Just to confirm how I'm always right and he's not. But yeah, I told you about him, babe. Like that you were getting a good one. We wanted him. We talk about wanting them. We don't do that stuff around here. But no, Joel Embiid is, and we'll keep this quick, is the best player in basketball. It's not even close. What he's doing on a basketball court this year, we say it yearly because he gets better and better. But like to be better than you were in an MVP season, I don't think we talk about that enough here. And that dude deserves a lot of credit, man, because he's having a monster year. A monster year. And I was a year early on it, or maybe 2. But here we go again. If you pair a great big man with a great point guard and you're healthy, great things can happen. And I just was early thinking harder than Embiid. When it's really Maxey and Embiid, which is great. I like that one even better.
So much better. It's homegrown.
But you see it now, as Brad Ryer once made fun of me about it. But you see the point I was trying to make, how electric that can be together. Those two play.
Another dryer sheet.
Oh, yeah, he's dryered up. You could put him on tumble. He's a tumble, just stays in. He just stays in the dryer. Don't even come out. But
he's the ball inside the dryer that keeps the clothes separated.
Cass thinks that's a baseball. Like, baseball. Bro, so that's Brad. Put him back in. I'm gonna start calling the ball Brad. Okay. So what the hell, Greg?
I don't even know.
You were early on the quote unquote Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. Like, so now you're seeing it. Those two chemistry is so special together. It's unbelievable. I got stats for days in my A2D notes for like social purposes of those two just from tonight. Like the numbers they put up. The only other combos is I want to say Luka and Kyrie and Giannis and Lillard. So I mean,
they put up
arguably the best combo in basketball. Do you guys have the best combo in basketball?
They put up a stat tonight, right? They have 6 games this season where each of them have scored 30 points in the same game.
That's stupid.
The closest to them is, I think there was 3 of them. One might be Luka and Kyrie. I know one was Giannis and Lillard. I think there was another one that the closest to them is 3 games this season. So they've doubled the output in terms of that of any other 1-2 punch in the league. And then obviously the other thing with Embiid going 40 plus points and 10 plus rebounds in 3 consecutive games hasn't been done since Wilt. For the Sixers anyway. I mean, the numbers, the things he's doing this year, it's unbelievable. It seems like every game hasn't been done since Wilt Chamberlain. Like literally in this franchise, which obviously is the standard of big men in this organization and one of the standards in the history of the league of big men. So when you're having that name constantly brought up night in and night out, night in, night out, you're doing special things on the court.
No, listen, Nick Nurse is a big part of this. We talked about that on the signing. A guy who knew how to like slow him down or contain him can help him beat the people who try to contain him. And you're seeing it. The dude's my son. You know, we waited a while for this, and we're reaping the rewards finally. Took us a while to get here, but that's also the best combo I've seen here in Philadelphia ever. Like ever. In my lifetime watching the Sixers, there hasn't been a better combination. And it's very early, right? But they played together for a while, but like just those two being the lead dogs, it's special. All you need is just those role players that can bring you enough production.
And they're doing it, Tom.
Yeah, it's arguably unbeatable. Now, you had not last night, obviously, but Monday. Now, we're so into the Eagles, but Monday, you didn't get that role scorer.
Right.
Right? you didn't get that third or fourth guy to step up. You cough a game up. That happens, right? But you saw it tonight. You sort of got it back when you go through the box score.
You know, when you're talking about guys, though, right? And I would argue this is the best supporting cast that they've had. You know, even Marcus Morris, who, you know, you made the joke early on, right? Looks like he didn't have a pulse the first 5 games.
Oh, I love Marcus Morris.
December, he's had a phenomenal December. He's been shooting the lights out from beyond the arc.
Yeah, he had 5 tonight.
5 for 5 like 2 games ago or something like that.
But,
yeah,
but when he's shooting, he's shooting high quality shots.
But look at the efficiency, Chrome.
Kelly
They shot
Oubre.
50. Yeah, sorry, they shot 53% from the field of the team tonight. Like, that's ridiculous. That's awesome. I mean, Joel Embiid had 51 points tonight, Cromer. He's 17 for 25 from the field. Yeah, that ain't a volume 51. That's efficient shit. That's insane. I mean, Tyrese Maxey 12 for 24. So he shot 50% tonight. So the two of them, who as your lead dog getting 51 and 35, that's efficient 51 and 35. That ain't a mirage. That ain't stat stuffing. That's a real 51 and 35. That's what makes those two so special. Joel isn't just a great scorer. He's an unreal. He does it at an unbelievable rate. Like, his field goal percentage is off the charts. His points per minute is like historically good. It's historically good.
He's got more than a point per minute. But it's not even
insane.
just that, Tom. Because even on nights where he's not as efficient from the field, the difference maker is the way he shoots at the line. Because he's gonna get there. And when he's shooting 17 of 18 from the line.
But he got his 50 wide because he missed it, right? And you're like, oh my God. And then he got it right back. Paul Reed. Paul Reed knew who's paying for dinner if he gets that ball to him. And he dished it right to him. And that elbow, that elbow jumper, which started to be lights out last year, it's just had to kill her for him. It's just so special. But you're right, Crum. The line difference, because most big men can't shoot it at that rate back in the day. Right now, more can, but that 17 for 18 is absurd. You're that
now,
automatic.
Even now, though.
Yeah, and you look at even like tonight's game. Like, yeah, Stewart ended up being a 14-point win, but that game was closer throughout, right? So that's not 51 in a blowout. That's a 51 in a close game up until the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? So it's not like like you said, Tommy. It's not stat padding. You know what I mean? Just he's in the game at the end just to get his 50 burger.
T. Slayer says this perfectly, right? Because this is the thing where we talked about like too many threes sometimes. Right? He only attempted 1 tonight. Yeah. So you look at what he did inside the arc is unbelievable. And he said 33 points from the floor for all the free throw merchant casuals out there. Right?
Yeah, he was 17 to 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. And then without making any threes, he's only attempted 1 3-point shot. Back-to-back MVP. Oh, it's not even a question right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? D. Slayer, thanks for the super chat, brother. You are the best with super chats. Anybody out there that wants to help and can help support A2D Radio, it's a big way, man. We don't ask for shit. There's a lot of people out there that ask and beg. We ain't begging, but you want to keep helping us grow and get bigger and bigger? That's a huge help, D. Slayer, and that's 2 shows in a row from you. All right? Appreciate you, brother. Really do. It means a lot to all of us here. It's a huge way. Yeah, and tonight didn't really get crazy production from other people, but enough, right? Like Tobias 4 for 10, whatever.
When those two are 51 and 35, there's only so many basketball to go around.
Yeah, but everybody else contributed. Like Oubre had 7, Tobias had 9. Yeah, Melton got hurt, right? But he had 4 before he got hurt. Marcus Morris had 5. Paul Reed had 8. Pat Bev had 5. Pat Bev took a monster charge on Towns. It's like, dude, you hate Pat Bev when he's not on your team. When he's on your team, you love him, dude. What an addition.
Yep.
What an addition. And Nick Nurse, Rico Hines, that whole staff, they deserve a ton of credit. And again, you didn't win shit yet, but you're 19-8, right? That's a great start to the year, 19-8.
Hey, Tom, also, what a difference. No, I was just going to say, like, what a difference when you have a decent coach in Nick Nurse compared to the other one that we had to dismiss after that brutal playoff loss in Game 7.
Be careful. Yeah. His kid Austin might come after you. You don't talk about daddy like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear the son. I like you sticking up for Pops. You know what I mean? But right now we're a game and a half back from Boston for that 1 spot, so we're right in that part we thought we would be. All right, we're 7-3 in our last 10.
When you think about that, with a coaching change, with losing James Harden this season, with losing a lot of your role players.
Well, we're a +11, 0.3 in point differential, Chrome, which is the best in the Eastern Conference and is the best in basketball. It's not even close. The next closest is Boston at 8.6.
Well, when you're talking about, I mean, they had back-to-back games where they blew a team out by what, 52 points? 52
Yeah,
points?
but that's stuff like I'm not
30
crowning that
something
stuff.
points before.
Yeah. It's just interesting, right? Like we usually
I'm
don't
just saying.
lead.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, no.
And we've had
It's
some
amazing.
cupcakers, to your point, right? Like we had a couple layup lines, but credit to us, we went and layup lined it. We didn't miss the layups, right, boys?
That's right.
And the Flyers are fun to watch.
Ooh.
You know, they learn how to skate again. This is why I told the boys on the hockey happy hour, man. You know, they've been doing it a long time, and they've had some good hockey, and they've had some horrendous hockey. So I'm happy for them that, you know, it's back, you know, and I hope the Flyers don't get greedy here, right? Like, we don't need to go and trade for anybody.
I mean,
Keep
the Flyers
building
are
it.
third in the Eastern Conference in points right now.
Dude, it's unbelievable. And their goaltending's been elite.
Unbelievable.
Nobody talks about it.
And it don't matter which one it is.
Nope,
Yeah.
doesn't
It's
matter.
both of them.
They had three
I'm
straight road
glad.
games where they didn't give up more than 3 goals.
Yeah.
Like that's I think that's what that number was, right?
I'm glad they didn't bite on trading Hart, right? I'm glad they didn't bite on that because you kind of saw it coming in the offseason, you know, or at least you thought it was coming. And I'm glad they held on because it's turning out to be, you know, they're a pretty good tandem together.
It's all about trust in an organization, right? And it starts at the top. And when you put a Keith Jones in that type of situation, who we talked about is well respected, a great fucking dude, and then you add the Danny Barrere stuff, it doesn't feel like you're just recycling Philadelphia guys again. Like Keith Jones is more on a national scale. So, and Danny played here, but Danny's been other places and had a lot of success other places. So I like what they're adding. And I'll say it again, you know, I'm exhausted, but why am I drawing a blank right now?
Tortorella?
Yeah, why am I drawing a blank on Johnny? Johnny Tortorella, to me, is one of the most underrated coaches in the National Hockey League and maybe even pro sports. His ability to motivate players, his ability to get the best out of players, his ability to get guys in 2023 to grind it the hell out is something that's not talked about enough in this city. And when they do make the playoffs this year, that dude better be coach of the year. And he ain't just a guy who gets you started. That's the guy who can win. You can win it all with. I don't care about what's happened other places because you've watched him as a coach grow. He's grown as a coach. And people say, "Oh, Tom, you don't know." I know my hockey, babe. So it ain't no casual, right? Greg knows his hockey. All of us know our hockey. We ain't just casuals. Like, we love hockey in this city, right? It's a great sport when they're playing really well, and it's different. It ain't we're going to come beat you up. It's where we're going to come out skate you. We're going to come out work you. The toughness doesn't come in this, in checking. The toughness comes in fighting for loose pucks, winning loose pucks, winning face-offs, right? Grinding out dumping chases, but have the ability to outskate you. What this team and this organization have been missing for 40, 50 years. Can I outskate somebody? Get some Russians up in here. You know what I mean? Like my son, he's coming.
Wait for him.
He's coming. I got to get Cass on the ice, by the way. You know what he did the other night? I can't. It's unbelievable. So hockey was on, and like I don't talk hockey with him. You know what I mean? Like I don't talk hockey with him. I talk baseball, football, basketball because he loves it. He goes, Dad, hockey's on. And I said, yeah, I know. I'm like, you want to play hockey? He's like, yeah, I want to play hockey. And I'm like, all right, well, mommy, he's playing hockey. He's Russian. Got 50% Russian in him. What the hell are we doing over here? I thought like I hate hockey. I said, I don't care what you like. It ain't about you. It's about genes. You don't know who you had over there in your family that can just skate it around. You know, and my buddy I coach with baseball, right? Who I've coached with his son for a while. Greg knows Darren, right? But like Darren was a Division I hockey player at UConn. So I'm like, I got a guy waiting to get you on the ice. Let's go. So all fun. But we got Russians up in here. And so Danny Barrere, he's coming, Danny. You want to get him on the ice now? You know, give him a call.
I think it's important too to point out, you know, and why I'm really glad they didn't get rid of Carter Hurd either. My argument was they have not had defense in front of them. They've looked awful defensively the last couple of years. And you look at like right now, Cam York, you know, we heard a lot about him, but it seemed like last year I was questioning, is he going to meet up the hype of a first round pick? Him and Sanheim right now together look like a very legitimate number one defensive
It looks like
pairing
he
right
did
now.
when he was playing in like the U18 and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It looks like
and when he was
settled, right?
when he was an alternate captain on the
Yep.
the youth national.
Well, Travis Konechny's the lead.
Yeah.
Well, Travis Konechny's the lead.
That was big. You needed him to come back and he has not been great the last year and a half, but he is having a really great bounce back here. And I'll tell you what the key is. They needed a leader for this team. A healthy Sean Couturier on this team is an absolute difference maker to me. If he's healthy, that's your captain. That's the guy that if you're going to put a C on somebody, it should be him.
I agree, and he's arguably the best two-way. When he's healthy, he's arguably the best two-way player.
Lawton's another good one.
100%, Tommy.
Like when he's healthy, he's arguably one of the best two-way players in hockey.
100%.
So,
yeah.
But the Konechny growth, because it wasn't too late to turn it on and be the guy that you were drafted to be and expected to be. That's an elite goal scorer, which we haven't had here. Elite. And the parts that go around like Bobby Brinks and some of these guys, man. There's some good hockey players here.
The other
man.
one too, and we all kind of poo-pooed it in the trade, but Owen Tippett has shown that he's a pretty good young player. Like I know me personally, I poo-pooed it on the trade for Giroux. Like, oh, we didn't get anybody back, right? You know what I mean? But he's turned and he struggled a little bit last year, but again, you just got traded. You're 22, 23 years old. Not going to kill you, but he's turned that corner and he's shown to be a proven, or he's proving himself to be a legit NHL scorer.
And the thing too is, right, I think with Tortorella, a lot of people said him with young guys, they don't know how that works. Tell you what, he's got these guys going, and you know what else I'd really love, Tom? We talk about this accountability. He has no problem sitting Morgan Frost on the bench or not starting him as a healthy scratch when the effort's not there, when he's not producing.
Travis Konechny's 26 years old, right? You know what I mean? Like that's a baby.
Oh yeah, that's young.
That's a baby
young.
in the hockey world. But I think there's a right mix here. When you talked about how he handles young players, guys, right? I mean, first off, Bobby Brinks is 22. Bobby Brink, right? He's 22. You got babies.
Tyson Forrester's baby.
Yeah,
even Morgan Frost is still a baby. What's he? 22.
Joel Farabee, who's got 11 goals and 9 assists. He's 23.
Farabee's a baby. Yeah,
yeah.
Farabee's just been in the league for 4 years, but he's still a baby.
Frost is a baby, right? Who's in and out of the doghouse, like we sort of talked about, right? But 24 years old. I mean, you got guys that have so much room to grow on this roster still, right? And then you mix it with some veterans like Scotty Lawton, 29. So you have a good mix of young guys and vets. That's awesome here. I mean, Greg Tippett and Poling, they're both only 24 years old, and we're just talking about the offensive side, right? You guys brought up Cam York. What's Yorkie? Yorkie's only 22.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you too, and the boys on Hockey Happy Hour really broke it down last week. So you guys want to go back and check it out for your hockey nuts and junkies. They talked about all those young guys that Danny Briere drafted this year. Talk about Bonk, Gauthier, and Barkey. Yeah. Dudes are tearing it up right now with the Phantoms, those guys. All three of them.
By the way, Samuel Erson's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's younger than Carter Hart by a year, right? So, like, the only place where you're like, all right, we're not that young, and we are to a point, is like on the defensive side, right? Like, player-wise. Your two youngest is York, and then Sanheim, who's 27, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Your D is where the quote-unquote old men are.
and Igor Zamala, right?
Yeah.
He's from Russia. I mean, he's only 23. So you have like two really young guys in him and York. And then Sanheim's like, he's coming in the prime years, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a good mix, is my point. But yeah, Greg, that's the only spot where I would say, okay, that's where you want some youth down the road. But man, I'm just excited. We don't talk about hockey.
It's a lot of fun.
It's good.
Last thing I want to add in, by the way, boys, they're 3-0 in shootouts this year. They are without question, not even close.
We never
in the history since the shootout's been implemented, by like 100 losses, are the worst team in the history of the NHL so far in shootouts. 3-0 this year, boys. 3-0, and they look
Yeah,
good
it's
in
nice.
them, too.
We're not even going to do predictions this week because it doesn't matter, right? We're going to mix it up. We did it last week. We've been getting our ass kicked. Not in predictions, but just the Eagles.
Yeah, we talked hockey instead.
Yeah, we just
Hockey and
switched up.
Sixers.
Hockey and Sixers for a minute because, this is A2D Wednesday nights. That's what we do. Don, as we wrap it up here, we'll answer Don's question in terms
What's
of
it want? 1 more hour?
No,
is that
he's
the
not
question?
there.
Give me another hour.
No, a lot of love, right? A lot of love from Donnie. But
Yes.
he did ask, how
Love
would
you,
you
Don.
rank the popularity of teams here? Well, it's always Eagles 1 in this city.
Yeah.
It depends on how they're playing.
I was about to say, I think it's all relative to who's playing well at the time.
The rest of them are all 2.
Yeah.
That's how it's always ranked to me.
I think the Flyers are the clear bottom end, only simply
3.
because they have a niche
3.
fan base. It's a hardcore fan base and a lot of follow. But in terms of
But
like
when
the
they're
hardcore
playing-
when they're good and they're playing, that's an orange and black city.
no, I know. I'm just
Yeah,
going by
they-
when they're
Popularity, right? We're talking popularity.
You're
So-
probably right, Chrome. You're
So
probably
Sixers and
right.
Flyers are always Sixers and Phillies are always 2. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is a big time basketball city that doesn't get the credit that it really deserves in terms of that. But this is a diehard basketball city. I mean, this is a city that sat through and on airways here and elsewhere, draft picks and
tanking
the
down.
process and sitting through it and waiting it out, like diehard Sixers fan base. And Phillies same way, right? I mean, Phillies are number 2. It's just when you have the Sixers playing at the same time the Phillies are, like it runs into, Phillies really don't start here until June, right? Yeah. Then the Sixers are officially over, Flyers are usually over, and then the Phillies come into play. So Crumbs always gave it shit, but it's like we have other big sports here. They say fucking St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like we actually have hockey and we have, we have basketball. So we have other shit to watch. So yes, if this was just Phillies and Eagles, Citizens Bank would be packed day 1 on. That's the argument, Cromer. It ain't fair weather. It starts when it gets warm. And the other sports are over. There's only so many games you can go to. You know what I mean? And when you talk about playoff sports compared to regular season, where's the attention going to be, Michael? Michael, where the fuck is the attention going to be when you try to come at us?
Rent free.
No, it's the
that
truth.
2 years ago, and it
Greg, Blake, is that the truth though?
Rent free, baby.
What are you watching more of? A playoff sport or a regular season game?
Oh, playoffs.
Oh, it's gotta be playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question.
Playoffs.
Like,
Yeah,
Frank, you watching a Phillies game over like a Flyers playoff game? I mean, obviously we go back and forth, right? But what are you more focused on?
The playoff game.
Playoff.
That's on the main TV, and then you got the other game on the secondary TV.
Yeah.
When you're an issue like me.
I mean, Chrome's always wrong too. I mean, him and Chucks were perfect on the show.
I mean,
two guys who were consistently wrong.
That's an absolute lie, by the way.
Well,
my track record shows it.
Well, I wanted to sort of tease people on what's coming and some of the moves that are coming here at A2D. And you're going to have your A2D Wednesday nights and your agree to disagree on Sunday. And then we're shuffling the deck, right? We're playing a little casino here. Monday nights you're going to get your Eagles talk on A2D. You have Cromer, Pete Evans. You'll have Les Bowen, Ralphie, because he said he wants to do 2 shows, which is awesome. So Ralphie will be on 2. And then this is where it gets interesting, right? The goal, and we're saying it on air because we're transparent kitties, right? Is that we were looking to put Chuckster with Marcus. So, but we don't know how Marcus might want to do the show himself, right? Nothing wrong with that. So if that happens, I told Chuckster he's got his choice between Monday and Wednesday. So, he's not left on an island here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So somebody will smoke him weekly. So he's in a hornet's nest, whatever decision he goes with. Because Cromer, he can't run from you. Right? And I think that's a great show because I think the personalities are very good. I think when you add like a Les and a Chucks to a you and a Pete and a Ralphie, I think it's a fun, different dynamic.
It's going to be a fun show.
So either way, but then Tuesdays, we're going to have it'll either be our Phillies talk or Sixers Chrome, whatever goddamn season we're in.
Yeah,
All right.
Whichever team whichever way the fair weather blows us.
Such a jerk off. And you'll still have your hockey. Still have Flyers talk on A2D, which will be rebranded. So it won't be the hockey happy hour anymore. It's going to be, we're talking Flyers, and they'll have their end of their show towards the end. They'll get around the league like they always do a great job of. And then Thursday you'll have your pro fan talk. That's it. And then Friday in this very ring for our wrestling nerds. And then Saturday, not sure if it's going to be live or pre-recorded Friday, but you're going to have your national show. And your national show will consist of Doug Minkiewicz, right? I'm really like what Doug does. You'll have your Brinks, your Brad and Jordan from Rivals. And on Tuesday, it's myself. I didn't tell that last. So the Phillies and Sixers are myself, Cromer, Greg, whenever they want to jump on, obviously. Blake, whenever you want to jump on too. And then we'll have Luke from Rivals. I like working with Luke. I think he does a sensational job. Ryan, and it's supposed to be Pete Young, so I can lock his ass up. I can clean his life up a little bit. Picking his freaking nose. The guy, put your TV in the right spot, bro. Like these guys, he's looking like this the whole show. like that. Come on, bro. Your neck's probably stiff as a board. What are you doing? So I'll lock his ass in. And then it was supposed to be Jake, but I don't think Jake's going to be doing shows anymore. So we'll see. And then I think I said everybody. And then Wednesdays, we're going to be saying goodbye to Frank. It's been a long time. We hope we see him again. We love him. And we hope maybe he can, him and Andy, run the game show back, when that time comes around again in the summer. And, Frank's family here. So he got a new job and a bigger job, and we're proud of him, But he's also not going to be a stranger either. I said, whenever everybody gets the urge, right? So that the door's always open. Just walk right in. You know what I mean? You know the house number. You know the password. Come on in. But we're proud of you, Frank. And, I'm thankful I've been able to do stuff with you for as long as I have. And I know other people are too. So, and we appreciate all the extra stuff you've done here to help A2D over the years. Doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
That's why I said your family. So, and somebody said about Ryan. Yeah, I just said that. So I just said what he's on. So
we still got you back there for another show, right, Frank? Next week?
Yes.
Were you done it? Yeah, we got one more with him.
Next week will be the one.
Where she's saying, don't leave, Frank. Like I said, he'll be around. You know what I mean?
I'll be around.
So, and then there's our lineup. And Hollis and Irv will see where they fit in and everything. And we'll talk about Mitch when Phillies come around too. I'm sure he'll be joining us on the Philly show as well. So we're not going to have a million shows. We're going to give you that show a day that you deserve. And we're going to put out the best goddamn product around. So we've learned something over the past, been a long time, but we learned something over the last year. Not about how many. You don't need a million shows. You need a great one every day. And obviously video content for you guys. We're going to really get going on. Myself, Cromer. I'm going to show Greg how to do it, even though he has terrible takes. And I'm going to show Chuck how to do it too, even though he has terrible takes. So we're going to have two great takes every time with me and Chrome. And then you're going to get two terrific,
Here we go.
the worst takes that you ever heard. And then they're probably going to hit the unfollow button. You know what I mean? All right. So we have about a minute left here. Just running it out to 2 hours. That's all. Dude, it's
going to be a lot of fun, man. A lot of
Martian, it's not the end, babe. It's not the worst happy ending. You don't have to. You got to approve.
No, we got a lot of good stuff coming, man. Because we're gonna be trying to do more live shows on site as well.
Yeah,
we're just trying to diversify. We
got a big bus coming. We got a big bus coming that we're gonna be doing tailgates with. Right. We expect our goal is to do more live, planned out reaction shows for games. especially with the Sixers playoff time or big matchups later in the year. Same thing with Phillies as we get into June, July, August. We'll give a big game of the week. We'll give an A2D game of the week. And then we hope next football season, because we supply you a post game every time, but we would love to supply you a pregame. And we can talk about Eagles live reactions a little different, right? A little more emotion, but we want to get in-house. We want to get over here a little bit. Me and Chrome and a couple other guys put the recliners back, and let's watch some games together. So we have a lot of big stuff for you. So it's an exciting announcement, but sad things are part of this. It's life. It's how life works. So you don't say goodbye. You say, I'll see you later. That's how that works. All right, everybody. But we love everybody out there, and we appreciate everybody's support. And I know Frank appreciates all the well wishes and the and we'll get
come
you
back
a Frank
and watch
prayer.
him next week. He'll be back next week. Come back.
Yep. And Sixers live reactions are always unmatched. Martian says, yeah.
I'll be back next
week. The brand's strong. The brand's strong. Even though things are changing, the brand is getting stronger. The brand is getting stronger, and just brought in a great asset to A2D today. So, behind the scenes, great asset. Been a friend of mine since I've been 14 or 15 years old, and me and him came up with Uber and Grubhub before it was a thing in a car. Maybe over a little extracurricular. Maybe we were driving a little extracurricular in the car. Great thoughts, and we came up with it. Like, no lie, like 20 years ago. I was like, dude, wouldn't it be amazing if you just get like anything you wanted dropped off? Like anything you wanted, like Grubhub, like anything you want, just dropped off. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing if you could just like get just hit a button and you get a driver or you get a babysitter? Like, we had all these freaking ideas. Yeah. So my guy Steve is one of the best at what he does in terms of social marketing. I don't think there's anybody better. And that doesn't entail content. That does entails back end. He's great at what he does. So I'm excited for Steve and Chris, two guys that I've known my whole life. And you surround yourself with people you trust and you believe in and can do things you can't do. Key thing. And I'm surrounded by great people around us this whole time. And we're going to continue to be surrounded by great